Good morning. It's Monday, March 18th, about 6 a.m. Central Time. Over the precious metals are weaker after Friday's industrial complex rally. You have April gold slightly weaker at 21.61. May silver down 4 cents, 25.34. May copper slightly weaker at 4.12. April platinum, that's the big mover, down 1.9%. It's down $18 at 9.25. And then June palladium down 1.4%. That's down $15 at 10.76. So looking at the commitment of traders report, the combined one for futures and options, we've seen a really big short covering rally here, really in the copper market, and then an additional rally as far as contracts added on in the silver market. So copper up 11,000 to 6,800. Gold up 15,000 to 236,000 net long. Platinum up 11,000 to 14,000 net long. So that's kind of more of a reversal there adding. And then in the silver market, adding another 10,000 to 54,000 contracts long. So the complex is long across the board. Seems like combined futures and options are all long. I'd say the weakest one looking chart pattern wise is going to be the gold market and also the platinum market. So other markets that are standing out here at the moment, you do have Bitcoin, which slumped about 12% from last week's highs to its lows. And the key level that I'm watching here is right around this like 68 to 70,000. That was the previous contract high. See if it can consolidate around this area, build a base before it starts to turn up again. So look for 60,000 in the high 60,000 for any kind of consolidation. For this week, we're going to have a busy week economic data-wise. Tonight we'll have the Bank of Japan, their policy statement, and then also Wednesday we're going to have the FOMC meeting. Powell, he really wants to cut rates. It's just, is the data allowing them to cut rates? That's the problem right now. And then we'll also have a slew of Chinese data coming out, which could affect the real estate market. We'll also weigh in on copper. And then copper was the driving force behind that silver rally yesterday. Remember, silver, 54% of it's an industrial metal. So the Fed is penciling in 3 interest rate cuts are what's penciled in. I think reality, taking a step back and looking at the data that's come out recently, I think it's 3 cuts, which would bring it down to about 4.5 to 4.75%. So looking at the markets here, the NASDAQ is the one that looks most susceptible at the moment. The chart pattern's kind of pointing down. However, you do have a rally here this morning as NVIDIA kicks off an AI conference, and then Google and Apple are also trying to build an AI platform on the Apple iPhone. So getting into the charts again, like I said, platinum with its big sell-off here today, down about $18. Taking out the last few days' lows. We were down at the March 13th low, and it looks like we've broken through that. So your critical level support on platinum, 912 is the 50-day moving average, 894 below, that's your trend reversal point, and it's kind of hugging. If it can get near to unchanged on a day, that's about the 200-day moving average. Looking at the gold market here, I'd say still those contract highs at 220123. That's kind of like your bull bear line in the sand. You got to close above that in order to build momentum on the rally. How that would happen, I think really get the pivot more dovish, and Jerome Powell really cements that interest rate cut in that next meeting. Now looking at the critical level support, 2150. We've been looking at it as 2145, kind of pocket support up to 2150. I think there'll be a lot of stop losses right around that 2150 area. Your critical level support below that, 2100 and 2086. Your trend reversal point, 2077, still that 50-day moving average, a bit too low. Now silver's an interesting one because it comes up and you get that rally from those lows, 2250, say you shoot on up above that 200-day moving average and you extend up to 2450. We kind of consolidated in that area before we got to break out to the upside on the copper rally, and then since then we're kind of drifting higher. So take your cues from copper on that silver market. It's more correlated to it than gold at the moment because the gold silver ratio is at 85, so that's kind of losing its luster at the moment. So I'd say copper, if you see a big breakdown on that, chances are that silver market's going to follow suit. What takes that copper market down is probably going to be some of this Chinese data here that we see tonight. So there is some material pressure that could occur on the copper market at the moment. If you look at the crude oil market, that's the one that's been rallying the most recently. And I did an interview with Yahoo Finance on Friday saying that $85 is quite possible on the upside on the crude oil market. Seems that Ukraine has taken a lot of stance, is attacking refineries in Russia right now, and that's what's kind of boosting that market up. So wouldn't it be funny if U.S. taxpayer dollars goes to Ukraine. Ukraine ends up bombing Russian refineries. Inflation cycles higher, and it costs Biden his election. So that's kind of interesting. So if you look at the cocoa market, up 441 points right now, 81.46. That's a massive squeeze going on in that market as well. The grains are mixed. The equities are a bit mixed as well. So you got any questions, give me a call, 312-858-7303. We'll probably be putting on some defensive positions in the equity markets here today, still adding to Bitcoin on any of the corrections. The silver market, I think we need to get a small flush before we go in on that. Platinum looks interesting down at these levels here, and I think that any kind of material weakness in the energy markets needs to be added to your portfolio. So you got any questions, give me a call, 312-858-7303. Remember, futures option trading does involve risk of loss. May not be suitable to all investors. Good luck, good trading.